Good morning, everyone. So yesterday we had the US inflation data come out, and it was rather a non-event. We had some mild volatility just initially, but then nothing happened. Jobless claims came out a little bit higher than expected, but also within some expectations, so nothing big there. That was the main event for yesterday, and I was waiting for it. That'll be a big surprise. As you can see here, this was the time when it happened. Bitcoin went up a little bit, then it retraced the whole move, and now we're back to where we were. So yeah, nothing major, nothing groundbreaking. We can move forward. And the main thing I want to touch today is if we go on a daily time frame, we can see this long trend line, which is still intact at the moment, but we're touching it barely. And the price is now trapped between this resistance and this trend line. With all the weakness that Bitcoin is showing at the moment, I'm leaning more towards that we're going to break this trend line. And given how long this trend line is, let me measure this. So it's about 225 days. That's a long trend line. So for about 225 days, we were in an uptrend. And now Bitcoin is consolidating, and it's showing a lot of weakness. Showing a lot of weakness on its own. It's showing weakness against other assets like the stock market in US. So those are all the signs that I'm looking for. At this point, the ETF news came out. Bitcoin reacted violently to the upside, and I was expecting more of it. But it didn't show any follow through. It showed weakness. It didn't continue. So we just basically stopped where we previously stopped, spiked the previous high, and returned back, which is a failed breakout. That's a bearish sign. Now we're even below the resistance. We're trying to break through. Or every time Bitcoin fails. So it's looking weak at the moment. It's not looking strongest, and it's also like we're in really tight position here. So we either go up, and I think that would be a big move, or we're going down, and that will also be a big move, because looking at this price action, we're in the same zone basically. So one is the uptrend, and the other is like the sideways chop, and we're in this sideways chop more or less for almost 150 days. That's a lot. So this is quite a long time for Bitcoin to be in the same price zone. We can do something like this. So it's not the most beautiful, but it is like we're relatively trading in this zone now for 150 days. So what I'm expecting is the next move to be more volatile. And we need to be really careful. So what I would suggest now is try to play it safe. Don't go into any leverage positions, and just wait for the outcome. Wait for the confirmation, and just see what happens. So if we start breaking above this, I would long. If we start breaking down, I would sell the Bitcoin or even short. I'm not shorting it, but yeah, you can sell the Bitcoin for fiat or for USDT, and stay sideways, and just wait out for a better opportunity to buy in again. So the main two areas I'm looking for is, this is the first one. If we go look on the weekly, this is my first area of interest basically. So we had the double top, which was rejected, and then it was breached, and that would be my first area, but I think it's too shallow. Just looking at everything, if we're breaking down through this, we undo the whole ETF candle. We're almost there already, which is just, and if we undo it, that's really bearish. So if it's something is really bearish, we're not going to dump 1K from that and then reverse that. I don't like, yes, it can happen. If maybe some new news can come out and everything changes, but looking at it from a historical perspective, if we get to 25 something, we're probably gonna dump more, just probabilities looking. And the next area is around here somewhere. This is quite a confusing cluster of everything, but this is something I'm looking for. So slightly above 20K, maybe spike it through and then return back. But I'll also wait for a confirmation. So firstly, if this breaks, I want this to confirm on at least daily level, on a daily time frame, so that we close below this trend line strongly and we stay below it. I'll look at that as a confirmation, and then just watch what's happening here. This looks more like a middle part of the range, and then this like a bottom part of the range. And I would be observing what the price is doing. If the price is bouncing, showing strength against the stocks, I would start jumping in and just see what's happening, looking for confirmations. But I wouldn't just blindly be bidding those levels. I would be observing what's happening, how the price is reacting. Let's jump to Ethereum. It's in a similar position. It's in a very similar position. So we either break the 2K barrier, so more or less, or we break down. But because with everything that's happening with Bitcoin, I don't see it coming that Bitcoin will break down and Ethereum will break up. That's not gonna happen. So if Bitcoin breaks down, Ethereum will break down as well. And if it will be a bigger move, I see Ethereum going down in percentage wise even more than Bitcoin. And that gets us pretty low pretty quickly, basically. I'm not saying we're gonna retrace the whole move, but like something in this area, that's quite probable. It can spike below it and then reclaim it. That's something I would be looking for. So if we look at maybe something like this, let me something like this maybe. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm just looking at the price action. So what could potentially happen is Ethereum starts dumping. We see small reaction here. Maybe we spike this and then we get back up. So this is where I'll be entering along again. But I'll definitely wait for a confirmation. So I wouldn't be blindly bidding this level as well. It's just an area of interest for me, so to say. If I see some reactions, if I see strength in Bitcoin in general, then I would step in. Otherwise, I would wait for this to show me some signs, not just blindly following it. Something like that. I'm basing all my trades basically on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still the leader. And if Bitcoin dumps, Ethereum will dump, and it will dump probably more than Bitcoin, which then gets us to Ethereum Bitcoin chart, which has been trading down for some while now. It's looking like a rounded top a little bit. And it's the ugliest rounded top I ever drew. And what I see is this can definitely drop more. Just looking at, let me check the weekly. So this would be my first area of interest basically. But this one is also pretty close. It might happen, it might do something similar than this, and then we can start looking for opportunities. But it also can go lower. Like we don't know what will happen. At the moment it's looking bearish. I don't want to look too far in the future just because it's so many things can change. So I'm always looking just, okay, what's next? With the current information I have, what's everything looking at? And at the moment it's looking like down, and I see more downside, but I don't want to bet on, okay, this is gonna go down 50% or anything like that. Like you don't know, like anything can change. If in September we get the ETF approval, things will turn in a second. until then, if we get a rejection, that would be a much, much worse outcome. I still think the ETF will eventually be approved, but we might get an initial rejection, which would dump the market definitely. But yeah, as I said, this is all what I'm saying is based on the current situation, based on current news, and current price action. So that doesn't mean I can't change my positions if the market changes. If I see, okay, now it's showing strength, now some news came out, or now something changed, I'll go long, even without reaching those targets, for example, on Bitcoin or anything. Like, it can happen that we break this, but then something big comes out. Yes, I'll change my mind. I'll go long. Until then, I'll wait. I'll just patiently wait for this to show me something, basically. Cool. So that's the main thing I wanted to talk about today. If you have any comments or anything, please leave them below. Like this channel, subscribe, help me with the algorithm. And I'll try to push this content on a daily basis just to help everyone. I'll try to be as consistent as possible. So thank you everyone for listening, and see you soon. Bye-bye.